All right, all right. So a little impromptu live stream here. Impromptu because I didn't know exactly when I get a chance to go live. Busy morning, and here's why. This is an announcement day because it's Star Wars Day. It's May the 4th. May the 4th be with you. So the backstory here is, looks like we had one of our channels break. Interesting. So I was trying to live stream into one of our pages on LinkedIn, and it didn't work. So the reason why I want to share this with some folks, you're going to have to bear with me. I'm going to share a little bit of background, which means I'm going to be rambling. There's no script. There's no, this is totally unscripted. But for some of you out there, this will be relevant, and here's why. I'm going to share with you something we've been working on the last couple of weeks. If you work in the online space, if you are an entrepreneur, coach, consultant, agency owner, author, podcaster, thought leader of some kind, basically an expert in your space, I think this will be of interest to you, and here's why. We had our own COVID crisis creation project. You know how everyone's been stuck at home, sort of cooped up at home. And by the way, I want to shout out to a bunch of folks like Jake. I know you had a big project that you just launched. Like, I'm seeing some of the coolest projects coming out of the last couple of weeks because I think people use that sort of limitation of being home and not being able to do our normal schedule, and it's inspired this or ignited this creativity. And this is our project that I'm going to be sharing with you guys in a moment. It's something that we have been incubating, working on with the team at SalesMap. Super excited to share it with you guys. I'll screen share in a moment. But if you're in our world at all, the SalesMap world or the Expert Referral Network, you're gonna see a bunch of changes, and here's why. Let me screen share, so make sure I get the right tab. All right, so this is our group over on LinkedIn, and as of this weekend, it was still called the Expert Referral Network, and you guys have probably seen me live stream. Oh, by the way, thanks, Bernie, for the May the 4th be with you graphic there, having a little bit of fun. It's with the theme of the day. But it was the Expert Referral Network. And you can see we have changed the name and the branding. We have about 550 members. You're going to see this number grow really quickly, too, for several reasons, which I will be explaining. Long story short, the Expert Referral Network is I don't love the groups on LinkedIn. I don't think it's a great group environment compared to what we're able to do on Facebook with groups. But there are some strategic reasons why I think there's a way to work out a really great group experience over here on LinkedIn. And that's why we've been experimenting with it. It hasn't always been easy, but I think some of the changes that we're putting in place are going to make it better for the members here. Everyone that's in this group, it's a handpicked, invitation only. So we get people applying every single day and we turn them away. We're basically looking at people's backgrounds and saying, are they an expert in their space? Do they reading their profile on LinkedIn, which, by the way, that's one of the reasons why we don't do it on Facebook. It's harder to understand who someone is and the work that they do. But on LinkedIn, you get to see the whole work history. Are they truly an expert in their space, or are they selling some kind of commodity, or maybe if they've got an e-commerce store, they're probably not an expert by our definition for the e-commerce store, the products that they're selling there. Like if they've got an Amazon store, that is not what we're looking for in the community here. If they help other people set up their Amazon stores, that could be really interesting. So we do, most everyone is in the sort of B2B area, not all, but most. And anyways, we've rebranded and we've adopted this new branding, the Book of Experts. We released it today, Star Wars Day, May the 4th. And just as a side note, May the 4th, this was 8 years ago. This was when we launched what was my business. Martina and I have a business called Must Try It Media, and that launched on May the 4th as well. So it's sort of a significant day. Over the years, I've tried to do a bunch of fun projects, and this one came together really quickly. I didn't even know if we'd be able to do this on May the 4th, but here we are, and I'm super excited to share this. What else do I want to share here? You know what? Let's just jump into it. I'll give you guys a quick sort of outside view of Book of Experts, and then we'll talk a little bit about what's happening behind the scenes. So Book of Experts is a website. It is a directory, or I like to think of it as a search engine of experts who can be found by their areas of expertise. And that part is important to me because originally we started our group, that Earn Referral Network, Expert Referral Network. We started the Earn group because people were asking on social media all the time, like, I need a website. I need, search engine optimization. I want to work with a business coach. I want to work with, whatever they saw as that next sort of step to level up their business or their career. They were looking for someone, and they would ask their friends, people that they trusted, or sometimes they would just go to a group online. I see this happen a lot in some of the social media groups, and they just say, who would you hire, or who would you go to for help with blank, whatever that thing is that they need. And some of the most interesting conversations would happen in those posts. People would say, I would hire this person, or I loved working with, just really great referrals that were happening, and people doing it for all the right reasons. They weren't paid to do this. It was just really interesting conversation. And by the way, as a side note, some of the smartest people would actually come in and not just say, yes, I do that kind of work, love to talk with you. They would actually come in with resources. They would say, yes, we work with folks in this area. Normally we do this. This is something that we put together that helps them sort of navigate the first steps of this process. And if you have questions about that, I'd love to talk with you. Now, that is a much higher order way of entering someone's world and bringing help, basically paying it forward and helping them first. And you can imagine that a lot of those conversations ended up in creating business and a good result for everyone involved. So long story short, that stuff has been happening on social media. You've probably seen it too. The problem with social media is that it's like water under the bridge. So if someone asked that question last week, good luck trying to find it this week, because all the other posts that happen just push it down. It still exists. It's still there. And if someone gets tagged in it, it might resurface one of those posts. But otherwise, that information is sort of lost. So that is what started us about a year ago, a little over a year ago. We created the Expert Referral Network for that purpose, to start to capture that kind of information. And then we realized that it's pretty hard to collect it all in those disparate groups and bring it back to one place. And what we really needed to make this work was a directory. Now, a couple of things you should know about this. First of all, Book of Experts is invitation only, right? So somebody out there right now is clicking this login button, and they're like, I'm going to get in here and I'm going to get listed. No, sorry, it doesn't work that way. It's invitation only. There's no cost. We're not selling Book of Experts or access to this. That's not the intention. The intention is to create a really cool project, pay it forward with the kind of people that we want to talk to, converse with, engage with, thought leaders in the online space who are doing transformational work with their businesses. So if someone works with agency owners, and you can literally take an agency from a couple people to, a dozen people or more, maybe grow them from $200,000 a year to $2 million a year. And by the way, I have friends in that space doing exactly that work. This is like, if you're an agency owner, you should be able to find those resources and make it really easy. Now, to be fair, we are just getting started. So I'll show you in a moment that we've only got about a dozen people that are in the directory right now. We just opened it up. But you saw we have 550 people in the LinkedIn group. And I think as people start to realize how valuable this could be as a resource, we'll be building this. You'll see more and more people coming online. So you can search. The search is public, so anybody can come to this and use it as a resource. Obviously, a video explaining a little bit more. You guys are going to get more than just the demo. Here's why we exist. Here's who we're trying to help. This graphic right here is something that's really important to us, because the idea of the expert referral circle, like who is in your circle of experts, who are the people that you refer quite often, actually. They're probably people that you do business with and say, yeah, I hired this person. I'd hire them again in a second. They've been great. I have coaches and mentors in my world like that I talk about all the time. They've been that impactful for me. You probably have the same, and this is an opportunity to capture that. Now, I like to say at this point, because it's a pretty important part of this. We are not trying to create a new LinkedIn. There's no, this is not meant to be a new LinkedIn, a new Facebook. Like, this is not a social network. And the reason why I say that is you don't need another social network, and neither do I. Like, we all have a limited amount of time in our day as it is, and we feel stressed and overwhelmed. This is set yourself up in the directory, connect the people, the right people, with your referral circle, so that you'll see in a moment, I'm going to share with you why that's important. But basically, it increases your visibility in the system. And then once it's set up, you don't have to come back every day and engage there. There's no messaging here. We're not trying to recreate that messaging piece. Messages are not going through Book of Experts. If someone finds you in the directory, like they search your area of expertise, and they should find you if that truly is your expertise, you should be listed there. So if they find you, we're just going to direct them back to LinkedIn or Facebook or your website. You get to choose where you want them to go to next to enter your world. They're just finding you. It's a discovery tool. So going back to this idea of the referral circle, is that this is really important to us, because the referral circle, there's two halves of the circle, right? There are the people that you're willing to refer, and then there are the folks that are willing to refer you. And in both cases, we've limited that number. It's capped at we're using Dunbar's number, which is, if you've seen any of this research, basically you can really know, you can have up to 150 people in your world that you really know and trust and build relationships with. And if you're trying to build relationships with 1,500 people or 15,000 people, or if you try to game the system and just get everybody in your referral circle, it ends up being not valuable, right? You decrease the value. But up to 150 connections, it can be super valuable. You could have 5 or 10 people, but if these are really the people that you love and you're willing to refer, and vice versa, those strategic partners could power your business for years to come. So this is really adding a level of functionality that we didn't see in other places, Facebook or LinkedIn, and putting it here in this concept of the referral circle. So why should you care? The referral circle is one big answer to that question. The next thing I want to show you, we'll scroll down. There's a little bit of, by the way, you do have to be, you can read more about this on our About page, but you need to be a member of that group. Remember I showed you the Book of Experts group on LinkedIn. You need to be a member of that group, because that's where we're getting to know folks, right? So you don't automatically come into the directory. We get to know you in the group, and then you get invited into the directory. That's the process. And the thing that we do is send you a secret code. We call it a secret link here, that actually gives you access to that. It's not just a place to log in. It's something that verifies you are who you say you are, and it gives you access and not anyone else. And then lastly, you can post up to 5 different offers. This is the second piece that we'll talk about in a moment, but it's a real game changer, because if you go to Facebook, it's social. Not a lot of people have set up their profile we call it a profile funnel. They have not set up their profile funnels on Facebook. You go to LinkedIn and they have a profile and an about section, and it looks like a resume. It looks like it's about you and who you are and what the work that you do in your background. We're having a different conversation. We want to talk to you about your offers. What do you actually offer? What are your signature programs? What does that actually look like? And I'll show you in a moment. Couple benefits, just so you guys are aware, this is invitation only. There's no cost. We're not selling access to this. All the applicants are reviewed, handpicked for membership. You get to build your own referral circle. You do that, not us. And then you get to publish your offers, feedback, frequently asked questions, all of that to create better conversations with people you should be talking to. And they will be able to find you. Here's top areas of expertise, right? So these are some of the, maybe you work in some of these areas, right? Life coaching, even nonprofit leadership, video marketing, website development, copywriting. I have friends in all these spaces, by the way, and they should be listed in this directory. They should be found. If there is a conversation going on around list building, Mitch, I don't know if you're out there, but you should be listed under this section. Obviously, you're one of the best that I know. And so that's the kind of information that we want to capture. We don't want just his name, Mitch's name, listed under the list building area. We actually want to see what are the ways to enter Mitch's world so that he can make a difference in yours. That's what matters. A couple other things. So you can see, listen, we're just getting started. We just opened this up today. Again, happy Star Wars Day. May the 4th be with you. If you are interested in Book of Experts, you probably should sign up for our welcome kit. And the reason why is we're putting together resources. This is not live, by the way, yet, but it will put you on the wait list. And we're going to be sending out a series of messages about how Book of Experts works, the group, the directory, and all the resources, because we have a bunch of tools that we've created for our members to help them out. This is a pay it forward project. So make sure you get signed up there. What else do I want to say? Do you guys have questions? So here's the thing. I may not see, if you're on Facebook, like just through your personal profile, I don't think I can see those. I am broadcasting to our Book of Experts page, the sales map page on Facebook, so I could see those comments. I think I can see them. I know I can see them on YouTube and LinkedIn. I don't see any comment. Here's the thing. I have a interface now. And so if you're asking questions, I'm not seeing any comments yet. And I'll follow up afterwards. Obviously, I'll get a notice. So if someone's asking a question and I don't see it, I'll make sure you get an answer to your question. Let's dig into the back end. If you guys are cool with that, let's actually go into the back end so I can show you what Book of Experts looks like behind the scenes and why that matters to you. So I'm going to log in. Again, you would only be able to do this if you have already received your secret code. I have mine. So I'm logging in here. Oh, from LinkedIn. It's probably seeing all the, okay. So here's you're looking at my profile, which is complete. I can create one more offer. So why does this matter? Because if you look at my offers, I have 4 created. And each offer is relative to different things that we're doing. So for example, Book of Experts is a free offer. There's no cost, but I've listed it as an offer because if someone wants to think of it like a portal or an entry into the work that I'm doing, like if the people I want to connect with, the experts in their space, they also could be listed in Book of Experts, and that's going to bring this Dream 100, this referral circle concept to their world, right? So this is one of the offers, and I have it listed here. Janet, one of my partners, actually has a audio training program. It's not sold, it's a free training, but it's how to create a 25K offer that sells consistently. So that's listed as one of our offers. That's a sales map offer, by the way, which is Book of Experts is sponsored and was brought to the world. It's sponsored by Sales Map, and I'll talk about my partners in a moment. But again, different offer here that someone can click on and learn about this and how they can get access. Caitlin does a 1.2 and 12 workshop, really, game changer for a lot of folks, because if they want to add an additional, literally 7 figures of business, maybe it's their first 1.2 million. By the way, 1.2 million, if you're doing 6 figures in a month, you do the math out, that's either your first million or adding $1 million to your business. What does that actually what does that process look like? Caitlin helps people build that. This is her gift. This is her area of genius. Janet, it's with offers. With Caitlin, I'll tell you guys a funny story about Caitlin. When we had our partner meetings last month, and we had a nanny who came to help with the kids while we were in meetings all day long. 15 minutes after meeting the nanny, Caitlin was talking with her because the woman had an interest of what she could do with her business, her unique skill set. Caitlin had already set her up conceptually with what her business could look like. She could do this, and she could pull these people in and talk to these folks. And like, she had the whole thing, this is what she does. And she just does it naturally. So if that kind of experience is of interest to you, I'm not sure when the next workshop would be, but I would connect you with Caitlin because she's able to do that. And then our signature program, the thing that we actually sell in our business, is the Sale to Scale program. By the way, I want you to notice no cost on Book of Experts, no cost on Janet's audio training. Yes, there is a cost for the workshop, but it's a smaller cost. Yes, our signature program is a high ticket, and you can see this is not with specific numbers. We're not asking people to divulge information that maybe they're not ready to do. But you can kind of get an idea of the value ladder and the range of these different things. The next thing I want to show, let's go back to, we have an option to help you add more people to your referral team. Big shout out to Kat Stancic. She actually gave me a great suggestion this morning. I'm going to change this language here. So when people make suggestions or recommendations of who should be in the book of experts, we are not triggering a message that goes out to them automatically and saying, hey, like, we're not spamming people. We're not automating this. What this actually does, if you make a suggestion and say, here are 3 or 4 people that I refer every week, I'm sending someone their way. They do great work and they deserve it. They deserve those referrals. And by the way, they refer me too. If that is how you feel, those people should be in the book of experts, so we can help make those referrals happen, those conversations happen more easily, faster, more conveniently, and easier. So you can suggest them by name, contact information. You can tell us a little bit about what their expertise is, and so that we can get to know them. And then what we are actually doing is reaching out to them so that we can get to know them too, and make sure that they do belong in the book of experts. It's not an automatic thing. They're not receiving an invitation. They're just, you're putting them on our radar so we can help make this happen. Here is the referral circle functionality. What's really cool is you can search by the referral circle. Now, pretty easy with 7 connections and 10 connections, pretty easy to, we'll click into this. So you can see, for example, everyone here is already, so, Kat willing to refer. I was checking on that because I know she had just clicked on me and I wanted to make sure I had her listed as well. You might not find Kat yet because she's just got her profile and she's filling it out, but you can search by name, by location, skill, all that information that's in the profiles. You can actually search someone's referral circle. And we think that's really interesting. Again, not so relevant when there's only 7 connections or 10 connections, but super relevant when we go, when you see 100 names there and you're looking for someone to help you with your website. I would say, you know what, Yon builds websites and he does a fabulous job. In fact, it was Yon and his team that built Book of Experts. So he would be someone that I'm willing to refer and you should talk to if you have that need, right? So that's super valuable information to the right person at the right time. And that's what we're trying to capture here. What else do I want to say? We talked about the referral circle. We talked about how you can add offers. I don't have a lot of these in here, but you can build frequently asked questions. And this is specific to each offer. So, here's one of the, I think this question actually is on the Book of Experts one, but is there a hidden cost involved with being a member of Book of Experts? No, there's no cost to be a member. That is not why we created this. What we do know is that for people that have these transformational, what we call signature programs, if you can connect them, these experts, so I want a deep bench of people that I can refer because I'm pretty specialized in the work that I'm doing. I don't try to do everything and be everything to all people. So I have a lot of really cool people in my network that I talk about a lot. And so being able to facilitate those conversations, that's valuable to me as well and to them. So we're trying to make that easier. So, I've answered this elsewhere, but this is an example how you can have FAQs there and you just save it. What else do we want to see? Here's the About page. If you want to learn a little bit more about Book of Experts, request to join the group, who we are, why we created this, letter from the founders. Here's my partners I mentioned earlier, Janet, Clark. I can brag about Janet all day long because of the work that she's done. Whole background in corporate sales, building sales teams, has probably one of the best people that I know when it comes to the creation of offers and what is selling in the market. She has a feel for this, one, because she's created a bunch herself with our clients and through that work, but she's also sold a whole bunch of them and continues. She sells with Sales Map. She has other strategic partners that she works with, folks like Ryan Levesque and his team at the Ask Method. The funny story that I love to tell about Janet is that years ago when she was working with Alex Mendosian, If you guys don't know that name, you should. He's like the old guard of the internet world, right? Internet marketing world. So Alex had programs at 30K, 60K, 100K. And he said, well, Janet was part of the sales team. You guys can sell the 30K and the 60K programs, but I'm the only one that can sell the 100K program. Someone's not going to invest like that unless I'm already talking to them. So Janet went out like the next week and sold several of those. And that tells you everything you need to know about Janet. Like, she just has this can-do attitude. She's going to make it work. Michael and Caitlin Domner are my other two partners. Janet's here on the East Coast, where I'm in Florida currently. The Domners are out in California. So they've been building sales teams, and they also, like, this is the unique aspect of Sales Map. It's like we each brought a unique piece of the puzzle together to do something that, the others were doing, but none of us had the full picture. So they've been building back-end sales teams for folks like Deepak Chopra, Ali Brown. Caitlin was part of Fabian Fredrickson's team. So this is what we do. Like, if you want a business development sales pro who can go out, or a team of them who can go out and bring deals to the table and set up those kind of conversations, I think you can see why Book of Experts is really interesting to us, because it just makes those conversations happen more easily. It increases the velocity in the, basically you want to scale up those conversations. This is one way to do that. So, and then you guys, boy, I've got to change this. It says lead generation. I really dislike that term. I think it should be marketing. Marketing or audience building has really been my background. And that is why I'm so excited about this Book of Experts. There we go. If you guys saw the notes in my post, I said, like, we've been working on this for the last several weeks. I literally am waking up at 3 a.m. with the wheels spinning so fast in my head, because I've never been this excited about a project before. This is a game changer for me. It's probably going to be one of the most impactful things. I mean, who knows what's coming in the future, but this as a platform, this is a jumping point for the kind of relationships that, like, real relationships, not spammy salesy relationships, but real relationship based marketing and work online. I've never had anything better to work with, and that's why I'm so excited. And it's going to set up a whole bunch of other things, which is basically the ability to spotlight and showcase folks who are doing amazing transformational work, making a big impact on the world. I want to see more of that. And for them, for the experts themselves, they deserve that, being recognized for their hard-won expertise, and they deserve more freedom in their life, which comes from, having a business that supports and is going to bring that impact to the world. If you're in survival mode, it's really hard to think creatively, and which is kind of interesting, actually, because this last 6-8 weeks, when we've been sort of in the pandemic shutdown, we're just started, some folks are starting to come out of it now. It's unleashed this huge wave of creativity. And I think, thankfully, a lot of people were able to be creative. And if you're out there right now and you're not able to be creative because you're in survival mode, we should talk a little bit, because I think there's some things in our world that could be really valuable for you too. As an example of this, later today, Sales Map is launching our May boot camp. So we have about 25, I haven't seen the final number, but about 25, some of you guys may be even watching now or will catch the replay, 25 new sales pros who are going into the certification process. Basically being taught the process of what we do to go out, find people they should be talking to, start interesting conversations and build real relationships with them with the intent of bringing value. And one of the ways that we bring value is what you guys saw today, this Book of Experts thing. So long story short, I ended up broadcasting a little bit longer than I wanted to. Some people will see the length and say, no way I'm sitting down. I don't have time for this. I get it. I feel that way too sometimes. But I did want to share a little bit of, this is like our unofficial, unscripted, not very polished launch announcement. You guys will be seeing more about it because we've got new pieces coming online. There's a bunch of things already here. So there's the Bat Signal Social Pod that we run and why we do that. If you're a content creator, you would be interested in that. And why, we can talk about why, and I can show you what a difference it's made and some of the really interesting community dynamics that we built around that. If you're interested in being listed for your own expertise in the directory, we should talk about that. If you need one of those business development sales pros, we've got some clients that are basically just sitting there waiting. They're looking at this crop of new sales pros coming through and saying, yes, I'm ready to go. Let's do this. But there are going to be some that are not yet matched. So if that's you, we should talk about that. And what else do we have going on? The group on LinkedIn, if you are not yet using or leveraging LinkedIn, I hear you and I feel you. I was that person too a couple of years ago. It's interesting because my name often gets thrown out now in the conversation around LinkedIn. Like there are the LinkedIn gurus. I don't like to use that term, but the folks who have spent a lot of time really know how to leverage that platform. My name gets thrown in that list quite often because of the work that we do. LinkedIn is a very productive channel for us, meaning we make a lot of connections there, and a lot of our clients come through those conversations that we've created. So it is very productive for us, and we teach people how to be effective there. But it's not the only channel I use. Some of you are watching me on Facebook right now, every bit as much. And then last thing I'm going to mention, just because I think it might help someone out there. If you have not seen the content that I put together around the 4 years of marketing, so I have an article on LinkedIn and a webinar on Facebook. Either one of those would probably give you what you need. Either of those two assets could be useful for you, because 4 years of marketing pulled together and really changed how I do the work that I do, how I think about the work that we do, and where we see people getting traction. It's created a really fun work in the atmosphere for me. Again, I have an article on LinkedIn. If you can't find it, just shoot me a note. I'll make sure you get the link. It's also on my Facebook profile. A few days ago, or last week, I think it was, I did a workshop and I loaded that up, a webinar with some good information, but you'll see 4 years of marketing mentioned in the title slide there. So if you haven't seen that, that's probably the best thing, that I could share with you. Like, look at that first. If you think you belong in the book of experts, again, we can talk about that, but we got to get you into the LinkedIn group first. If you're not super active on LinkedIn, that group is going to be a great environment for you, because you will see what's working and what's not working over there. And by the way, about 95% of what people are trying to do on LinkedIn is not working for them. And I can tell you why and show you why. There's something that's much more effective, and will help you do that. So that's my story. Today's launch day. May the 4th be with you. Hopefully you guys will celebrate in some small form Star Wars Day, because to me, this is the international holiday. I think it's better than any other holiday. I'm a nerd like that. See you guys soon.